Like and subscribe and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
Carnivals can be a lot of fun, but after years of abandonment and neglect, they turn into creepy ghost towns. Today's video features the creepiest abandoned amusement parks. Ready to dive into Spooky Town? Hold on tight and let's go for a ride. Number 13, Starjet Steel Roller Coaster. You might wonder how this roller coaster ended up washed up at sea. It looks like a great movie backdrop, but in reality, what you're looking at are the remnants of Starjet, which was a steel roller coaster that operated at Casino Pier in Seaside Heights, New Jersey from 2002 until it was swept into the Atlantic Ocean by Hurricane Sandy in 2012. This heavily built roller coaster was actually quite an adventure, as it was perfectly laid upon the beach. But sadly, as it shows, the setup was prone to hurricane damage. It was sadly later dismantled, as it couldn't stay in the seabed forever. Number 12, Land of Oz, North Carolina. In the quiet wilderness of Beach Mountain, North Carolina, lies the Land of Oz theme park, a once-abandoned amusement park centered around the Wizard of Oz. In 1975, the Emerald City was destroyed in a mysterious fire, which totally toppled the park. No one is certain what started the fire, but it destroyed the amphitheater, nearby shops, and a restaurant. The sordid history of the park creates an unsettling air of mystery around it, even now when it's been partially restored. Number 11, Ho Tui Chen. In case you find yourself around Vietnam, do hire a motorbike and head down to pay a visit to what was a great water park that had been opened in 2004. At the entrance of the park, you're greeted by a guardian who's sort of welcoming but very bored, and takes the form of a dragon. Silence is the main theme, since the area is bushy and there's no one there to patrol the area. It's very easy to visit this place alone. Since the opening, its growth wasn't significant, and this led to its closure only months after it was opened. What's left now is unattended trenches and an aquarium with no life in it. It feels like a complete replication of Jurassic Park, except for dinosaurs, the only thing that lives here are grazing cows that kind of keep the place alive. Number 10, Disney's River Country, Florida. Disney's River Country opened in 1976. It was a complete hit because of its winding slides and wooden bridges. A photographer documented the now abandoned park in his photo series DREAMLAND. It's one of only 2 Disney parks, along with Discovery Island in Orange County, to close its doors and never reopen. Both parks were left to deteriorate. Almost everything is covered in water and moss. Number 9, Data Park, Belgium. Originally built in 1950 as a playground for the children of pilgrims visiting the nearby basilica, by 1980, the schoolyard equipment had been replaced with amusement rides and open to tourists and those in town on a pilgrimage. For a time, the park enjoyed great success, entertaining 1 million visitors per year, and for a time containing what was, at 800 meters, the longest monkey bridge in Europe. However, things took a turn for the worse as the increasingly run-down rides became more and more hazardous. Finally, in 2000, a boy lost his arm on the Nautic Jet ride, and by 2002, the site was closed down for renovations. Unfortunately, these improvements never took place, and the park was simply abandoned, never to reopen again. Number 8, NARA Dreamland, Japan. Would you believe that once a Disneyland was so full of life, but it came to a halt after 45 years of operation? NARA Dreamland's owners were ambitious in making their childhood dream come true. This park possessed everything you'd think of, from roller coasters to slides and posh restaurants that would make one want to stay in the Dreamland forever. It also had a fortress of a princess that makes it eccentric to even visit the park, even when it's closed. Since its closure in 2006, the Disney-themed park has become chilly and a lonely air surrounds it. Some items from the park have been sold, and the metals have been left to rust. It's so sad that once a flashback of childhood memories and joy for the lucky ones who had visited is now a dreamland, forever just imprinted in the back of good memories somewhere in their brains. Number 7, Gulliver's Kingdom, Japan. It's like Japan has a habit of abandoning places. Anyways, it might be be a sign of focusing their energy on things that bring financial growth to their country. And being age-biased, this park didn't attract much because it was only made for children of ages 2 to 13. And the last time I checked, adults make up most of the purchasing power of the world. Not a very bright choice there. The park also didn't have major rides, making it a rather boring place to be. To make it worse, it was near a famously known haunted forest. This made it more mythical, as visiting it made people have their guards up. There's nothing much to enjoy other than a nice stroll and taking fun pictures, as you now enjoy the sight of its remains. Number 6. Spree Park, Berlin. Have you ever wanted to visit the apocalyptic future? This is what taking a walk down Spree Park looks like in Germany. Everything there is frozen. Nature's taken over since it closed in 2001 due to disputes and short finances, leaving it to just exist. Only a small family of raccoons can be heard rustling through the thick bush as they enjoy their home. Even though the original atmosphere was replaced, it turned into a whole new thing, now being allowed for one to visit in the presence of a guide. If you fancy anything horror related, pay a visit at night and hear the Ferris wheel grinding its rusty spokes as the wind blows and brings it back to action. Locals say that the park groans at night and nightmares haunt it, as if it wasn't happy with its demise. Would you camp here on your own for $1,000? Number 5. JOYLAND Amusement Park, Kansas. As its name goes, it was a great place of joy founded by Lester Ottaway and his 3 sons. Its story began from a small train that was purchased by the family, till the family decided to give the train a permanent home by purchasing the surrounding land and turning it into a park. The park ran successfully as it switched owners until a girl fell from a 30-foot Ferris wheel and had severe injuries. This gave the park a scare as it dwindled due to fewer visitors and ran out of finances, leading to its closure in 2004. Attempts to revive it were in vain as it stayed unkempt for long. It attracted fire and vandalism, making it hard for the project to ever continue. The land was sold to new owners. Number 4. Wonderland, China. In the outskirts of Beijing is where a castle-like structure seen from afar, which was to be Asia's biggest Disney-like park ever constructed. It sat on 120 acres of land. The theme park was mainly to attract more than 20 million estimated people, but things never went as planned. After a continuous, ongoing construction, it seems the owners ran out of money, and what stands now are unfinished structures. Some completed only halfway. Years later, it was announced an abandoned amusement park, and farmers around the area reclaimed their land as life had to continue with or without a Disney-like theme park. Number 3. Ukpo Land, South Korea. This is another amusement park whose owner went missing, never to be heard from again in 1999. This abandoned park is found in the outskirts of Okpo-dong, South Korea. As promising as it was, it attracted many people because of its modern rides for the 90s. One day though, a duck-themed ride claimed to life, and the authorities had no apology to make. Things got out of hand in 1999 when a girl succumbed to the same duck ride, and no one knew if the rides were in good shape. Ever since, no one has been allowed to set foot in this place, and everything was left as is, never to be revived. Today, the park is incredibly cold, and there's a spot where people claim the deceased souls can be felt. Number 2. PRIPYAT Amusement Park, Ukraine. This once beautiful park came to its end before it even began. The theme park opened the day after the worst disaster in history, Chernobyl, which occurred just several miles away. It never got a chance to open its doors again. Years later, radiation levels in certain parts are still high. The radioactive particles simply washed into the soil, even though many adventurous people visit to see the park's iconic Ferris wheel. The park is included in almost all tourist tours around the abandoned city of Pripyat. Number 1. JAZZLAND, Six Flags, New Orleans. Whenever you're in New Orleans, there's only one place you could not miss visiting. This is the Six Flags amusement park, which was one wonderland that every person knew till Hurricane Katrina did her job on it. Since the damage was way too much for reconstruction, they couldn't risk people's lives, so it was closed down. What was once a fun sight has seen mostly trespassers ripping fences and writing graffiti on the facilities. The place is now home to boars, snakes, and other animals. The park is sometimes used as a filming location. See you next time.